All right, welcome to Sheroic. I'm Kenya Halliburton, and I'm here with JeeJee Saafir. Did I pronounce your last name right?
Yes, perfectly right.
Yay. I'm here with JeeJee Saafir, and we are going to be talking about thought leadership, specifically for women of color. And so before I get started, I want to welcome everybody to the show again. Again, this is Sheroic, and the show is all about speaking with women entrepreneurs, what I call Sheropreneurs, and kind of picking their brain around their journey to creating a life and business they love waking up to. So it's really cool, I believe, to get behind the scenes of the process that gets us from where we were or where we are to where we want to be. I think it really helps us all in our own journey. So I'm excited today to talk to JeeJee. I've known JeeJee for some years. We lost contact, then we reconnected, and it was like we never fell off. So it's one of those connections. So I'm excited. Welcome, JeeJee, to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to do this with you as well.
Yay. It's always fun to play with our fellow Sheroes, right?
All right.
So let's get into it. I have known you for some time, and I've seen your work. I remember seeing your work on LinkedIn. That's how I first discovered you. And I would watch you, and I would be like, "This chick is like fearless," like because your message was so was so. Well, yeah, I mean, especially at the time because I was like really, mousy and hiding behind my computer. So some of the things and some of the topics that you were talking about was like, wow, like that's so amazing. Like she putting that out there. Okay. So we want to talk about that. So let's start off. I forgot to mention that you are a leadership coach for women of color, and you help women of color be seen, be heard, and inspire change. And that's what you do now, but that's not what you started off doing. So, so tell us about your journey to now. Tell us how you started off and what inspired you to get started as a coach.
Okay. So I started off, I was just graduating from college, undergrad. And I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do with myself. I was a single mom. I was burnt out. I was like unhappy with, like I hustled real hard to be a super overachiever and prove everyone wrong that I could handle everything and be, a superstar student and whatever. And so time came for me to pick where the heck I was gonna go. And I thought maybe I would go into marriage and family therapy because relationships was like my thing. My whole life. It was either my downfall or my upswing. Relationships, like, and it's kind of everybody's story, right? Relationships. But the day I was going to send my confirmation letter in to go to, because they did accept me in the graduate school, I got a letter in a brochure in the mail for coaching. I was so happy because I didn't want to go into therapy. And no offense to anybody who's a therapist, I just was like, in my mind, I was like, I can't take people's stuff home every day. I thought it would be torture for me. It just wasn't my thing. But I don't knock it at all. It's not my thing. Right. And so the brochure came, and I was just so happy. And I threw that letter right in the trash the same day that brochure came. I did not go to grad school for that. I have been to grad school. And I took a course, and I fell in love with coaching. It just like changed my life. And I, fast forward, decided I wanted to be a spiritual coach because I was on that path about, oh my God, who am I? What's life about? Why am I even here? Because I had that moment in life where I'm walking down the street one day, true story, at Wayne State University where I was, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm just one little black freckle-faced girl out of 7 billion people. How can I possibly matter in this world? I kind of gave up to being a small being in the planet. And where was I? I went right back there walking down the street. And so coaching just really changed my life. So I decided I decided to get trained as a spiritual coach. And then, of course, we have to pick our niche, right? You got to learn the business side of actually putting your work in the world. I decided I would be a relationship coach. That was my thing. I thought that I had transformed my life. I got all spiritual and blah, blah, blah. And things were going good. I did kind of change my relationships. I found my soulmate at the time and the whole nine. And I was like, let me share what I had learned. And everything hit the fan. Like, I totally tanked that business because I skipped all the things that you're supposed to know. The number one thing is how to actually sell your amazing work to other people.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you say you saw me on LinkedIn, I've been talking about selling for a long time. And I started working with entrepreneurs after I realized I didn't know how to grow my own business. I started to go to trainings and seminars, and I delved into everything to start learning how to build businesses. And after I learned how to do that, I started to teach what I had learned.
Right.
The thing was, while I'm sitting at all these seminars, I'm looking around like there's like 5 Black people. Not that that was a big thing to me at the time. I didn't really care, but
yeah,
I started looking around like there's not a lot of people who look like me, and none of them. Not in the courses I took, not in the seminars, conferences, nothing. And that kind of bothered me. And as I look out in the world right now, like the people who are killing it in the world, for me, as I can see, still don't look like me.
Yeah.
There are some of us, but of course it's very few and far between. Yeah. And I want to change that paradigm because I see us as the new celebrity. I see Black women as the secret sauce to us really making change in the world, because we've been kind of marginalized, and it's been systematically made a little harder for Black people in the world. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to be out here like we're victims and blah, 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 but there was some systematic stuff that got us to be where we are.
Yeah.
So I am here to take a stand for us to be powerful and to own ourselves and to grow businesses and have lives that are happier.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know.
No, you did. No, this is your journey. So that makes sense. That makes sense. Okay. Because we hadn't gotten to talk about like how that transition happened.
Yeah.
And I don't think we ever really talked about your full story. So,
yeah.
So it's really good. Okay. So you were in this space going to kind of learn how to build your relationship business and had that epiphany like, wow, I'm the only person of color here. Because I was going to ask you, we got to the whole thought leadership conversation for melanated women and women of color, how that came about. So that's really interesting. So when was the moment that you kind of realized like, hey, I need to be the one to empower women of color to show up in these spaces?
Well, again, my stories always go back to my relationships, and this wasn't a long time ago.
Okay.
This part is not a long time ago, but I was in the relationship, and as spiritual as I was and smart and whatever degrees and blah blah blah, and thinking I had all the fixes to relationships, I was in a relationship that wasn't. It was rough, and I wasn't listening to myself, and I was discounting myself, and I didn't feel worthy. And not that the relationship was completely bad, but I saw me not being myself.
Yeah.
And kind of doing things just to keep the peace, doing things just to, get along or whatever it was. And so as I'm still doing my work in the world, I work with, everybody from all over the world, all cultures, all races, blah, blah, blah. But at this time, it was like a shift or something happened, and I had to take a really hard look at myself because like I had a lot of pain from being in that relationship, and I had to stop and remember what I know about, spiritual teaching and just being a being on this planet. If anybody's heard me, that I believe we are spiritual teachers, spiritual beings having a physical experience.
Mm-hmm.
And so I looked at, he was a direct reflection of how I was being. I wasn't owning who I was. He wasn't doing anything to me I wasn't letting him do.
Right.
And he was reflecting back to me how I felt about myself.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
I started to look at my business, because they say how you do one thing is how you do everything. I never liked that saying, but it's kind of true in a way, because I was kind of doing that in my business. And that's why I was kind of shocked when you were like, I saw you on LinkedIn and you seem so fearless. And long thing goes the journey.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Girl, you know the journey. Anyway, and so I'm looking at my business like I was doing the same thing, even though I was helping people and I was, doing what I said I was doing. I wasn't truly walking my talk, because I was putting out watered down messages. I was pretending to be this fearless person all the time who had an inspiring message. I wasn't like standing in my own power as a woman.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, like, I started getting these downloads out of nowhere. Like, stuff would just come to me out of nowhere. I would be crying about stuff just for no reason. And the idea to work with Black women came out of nowhere. I didn't want to do it. I was like, where is this inspiration coming from? Because I thought, oh my God, what are all my white friends going to think? Are they going to think I'm a racist? Are they going to stop being my friends?
Right.
But I couldn't even stop it if I wanted to. It just kept pouring out of me. The downloads just kept coming, and I would wake up and write, and it just happened to me. And that's when people think I can't find my purpose, I don't know what my calling is, it's going to pull you. It's not something you gotta seek all the time.
Yeah.
Right? It's gonna come through you. It's gonna emerge in you, and it emerged in me, and I couldn't help it. So this is where I am at this point. I'm doing what I'm guided to do. I'm following the calling.
Yeah. And speaking of the calling, I'm sensing that you are reluctant to step into it.
Oh yes. Big time.
It's almost.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
If I'm being transparent, for a long time I looked out, because I thought I was so spiritual. And like, I looked out and said, oh, you guys don't know you're all doing this to yourself. You're attracting this to yourself. It's like, I had like this spiritual superiority complex for a while.
Yeah.
And I didn't see, or I didn't let myself see the stuff that we as a people really go through in life. And somehow I was kind of guided to look at our history and look at what our real history was, as opposed to what they gave us and the education they gave to us. Mm-hmm. And I learned so much and I was just like, why do you keep guiding me to this? Like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to be visible. I don't want to put this stuff out here. But I had to do it.
Yeah, otherwise it would have kept haunting you.
It was haunting me.
Yeah.
For a while. It didn't just happen. I was like, okay, I gave up one day. Like, fine, I surrender.
Yeah, I believe that too. I believe that our purpose chases us down. Like, we can't get away from it. And if we try to, our life will be literally be miserable.
Exactly.
If we don't step into it. So you went through all this and you had these revelations, and now you are helping women of color step into thought leadership roles, and kind of do what you did, like identify, like, what is it that I have to say? I have this story, I have this gift, I have this calling, I have this message that I want to get out here in the world. How do I do that and stand in that and own that in order to help as many people as possible? So let's talk about thought leadership. First of all, what is thought leadership?
Okay, thought leadership at a very basic level. Well, let's talk about leadership in general. Leadership, most people think it's you leading people. Like, you're the leader of a group. Mm-hmm. But leadership is not about leading people. Leadership is about uncovering the gift that you're here to give to other people.
Hmm.
And the first place you start with leadership is self-discovery. Because if you don't know yourself, you kind of the blind leading the blind.
Yeah.
And so thought leadership is taking the wisdom that's in you and your essence and the messages that your spirit wants to share and monetizing that. So to me, you don't just, put inspiration out and not reward it, but that is, you get not, I don't want to say it like that so people think I'm like, you put this out here to get paid.
Yeah.
But it is a natural, energetic exchange to be paid well for the gifts that is in you, and I don't have any guilt around that whatsoever. So yeah, thought leadership is taking your expertise and your essence and your passion and the messages and the stories that you're meant to share and building either a business or your work around that.
Yeah. That's interesting. And that's really powerful, a powerful way to look at it, because I've never heard it defined quite like that, but that makes a lot of sense. So you, and I'm going off of this. I didn't mention this earlier, and we'll talk about this in a second, but you have a program called Black Women's Thought Leadership Society that you are running at the moment. And please forgive me I forgot to turn my cell phone off.
You were so calm. I was like, is that me?
Forgot to turn my cell phone. Usually I'm blaming my kids for interrupting me while I'm doing this, and real life,
Right.
So I'm looking at some of the material that you are using to promote. And one of the things that you said in your content is that women of color, and I guess women in general, but specifically speaking to your audience, women of color, melanated women are held back by three things: their voice, their visibility, and their validation. So talk to us a little bit about that.
Okay, so yeah, just women in general, but since we're a little bit underrepresented even in this day and age, it's very prevalent in our society too, in our culture, that we are afraid to speak up because, what if other people don't like it? What if we get rejected? What if people don't love us? What if, like, there's points and times when I'm thinking, if I put this on Facebook, are they not going to let other people see it? Because some of the stuff it says, like you got to really think sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Facebook is ran by not,
Yes.
not ran by a lot of people who look like me.
Yes.
So there's always that issue as well. But voice and our, what did I say?
Voice, visibility, and validation.
Visibility. So yeah, visibility. Oh my God. When I first started back in the day, I put up a Facebook page, I would pull it down. I put up another one, I'll pull it down, because I didn't want my family or my friends or my associates to know I was a weirdo, if you want to call me a weirdo, because I was using spiritual principles in my work and talking about woo-woo stuff people weren't talking about, especially people who look like me. They weren't talking like that. And so I did not want them to laugh at me or make me feel more like I couldn't succeed, because, you tell people about your ideas sometimes and the crabs pull you down. And, it's tough to believe in yourself when you feel like you're alone. You don't have a lot of people, like-minded, like-hearted people in your space. Mm-hmm. And so, that's a big thing for people, to be visible, just women in general, to put your hard work in the world and hope people accept it. It's really and naked, right? And so I have ways to get past that now. Like, when you step into your true message and you share the story your spirit is calling you to share, there's a place where you get past your fears, it trumps your fears, it trumps your doubts, because you know how impactful this may be for somebody else, and what if they hadn't heard it from you? Right. And there's people on this planet, I believe, that you have a soul agreement with to actually contribute your gifts to. And I think it's a disservice for us not to do that. And as far as validation goes, that lends right to not being visible and sharing your voice, because we think, I'm going to wait till I feel like they love me, or I'm going to wait till I get more likes on my page. Nobody gives likes, do not make you money. Yes. Shares do not make you money.
Yes.
So it doesn't matter how many likes or not you have on your page. It is about, do I show up so I can serve? Do I show up and show them that I have the ability to help them? Because they don't give a crap about all these things people think they give a crap about, like
Yeah.
certifications and degrees. That stuff is cute. But honestly, people want to know, can you help me?
Right.
Do you get me? Are you saying the stories that like reach into my head and my heart? So those are the things that I help people do. I help you pull out your inner wisdom. I'm getting ahead of myself. Like you're probably gonna ask me
You're
about
good.
this,
And
but
go with the flow, girl.
yeah, help you tune into what's really in your spirit to share with people and help you find the courage to really do that and put yourself out there, because it serves your people and it serves your life to be paid well for the gifts that you have.
Yeah, and you talked about the hesitation of like wondering what other people think and all of that. And you talked about your experience with
It don't go away.
so yeah. So so is that something that you address in your program? Like you help people
Oh,
overcome
absolutely.
the fear of rejection and shame?
Yeah, because even if you're succeeding, if you listen to, I remember a really well-known person in the coaching industry, like millionaire, had everything he could ever want, and at one of his um, seminars, he broke down crying because he said, "I still didn't feel whole, even though I had everything. That my life looked like I had everything." And Jim Carrey said, "I wish the world could become rich so they could see that's not where it's at. That's not the solution." Because we think once we get this stuff, and once people love us, then we can be happy, and it's not out there. I
Yeah.
believe we can have the stuff and be happy, but you have to get past the fear, and you have to be happy here first,
Mm-hmm.
right?
I
You
love
have to be happy first.
I love how you said earlier that you help people dig out their inner wisdom and find that confidence and find their own story and lead from there. I also love how you said you kind of talked about how we kind of um, are in tuned or wired to people who need what are connected to that inner wisdom, that innate thing that God has placed in us. And I always
Yeah.
say that there are people who are divinely wired for us. So
Love
it
that.
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who. It doesn't matter if it's Oprah out there doing the same, saying the same message. It doesn't matter if they have big platforms, celebrities. There's somebody who can't step into their greatness until you step into yours. And so I love that you are working with women of color and empowering them in ways, because I agree and I share that same experience that in this space and that we are in the coaching and consulting space, it's not that there aren't Black people or Black women or people of color in these spaces, but it is very we are minorities in the space, so to speak, in terms of like the success, the level of success and earning potential. And I love that you're doing that. So let's talk about your program, the Black Women's Thought Leadership Society. Tell us what it's about and what it entails.
Okay. So Black Women's Thought Leadership Society is where my mission behind it is to help Black melanated women grow and shine and be just as big as these other people who are out here doing what I think we can be doing too as a culture.
Mm-hmm.
Big and bright and shiny celebrity, but not celebrity in the, they said the new celebrity is like the Martin Luther Kings and the Gandhis and all of those people. Like, I feel like us as Black women are the new celebrities, that we have ridiculously great gifts to give to the world, to lift the consciousness of where we've been, and that lifts our men, that lifts our children,
Mm-hmm.
and then, that brings us back to being, and this is not about us being separate from anybody else or any other race or anything like that, but we have to lift ourselves and heal ourselves in order to, other people to see who we really are.
Yeah.
And so the Black Women's Thought Leadership Society is to help women pull out their message, their gift, the stories that they're meant to share with the world to help inspire change.
Mm-hmm.
And we get clear on what they stand for. We get clear on what their pearls of wisdom are. We help them get past the, oh, that person does exactly what I do. Who am I? Because that's one of the biggest things people deal with.
Yeah.
Like, because ideas are not new. They're all taken. We
Pretty
just
much.
happen to, yeah, we just happen to all be receivers. So
Yeah.
we all get messages. We all get guidance. And I want them to be able to put themselves out there and express who they are. And the way that you stand out from everybody else who's got a similar message is to share your story and your message and your parable.
Yeah.
And parables are your examples, your life experience, the story.
Mm-hmm.
And along the way, we're going to get over fears. We're literally going to be getting visible, literally going to be sharing our messages, literally going to be doing it. We're not just talking about it, like you straight up doing it.
Right.
Like we're taking action, we're implementing. You're going to be visible, you're going to share a message. Even if it's not perfect at first, we're giving our gift, period.
Yeah.
So that's the crux of it. Yeah, it's a 6-week course, and I have some lovely bonuses from some lovely people. You being one of them, Miss Content for Cash.
Yeah.
If I might toot your horn for 2 seconds, I feel like you have like this genius, like you could just diarrhea all over everybody about the online world and the online space, and like, yeah, you're the real deal. Like you want to make something pretty, you want to make something systematic, you want to automate some stuff right here.
Thank you.
I'm so honored that you are going to be teaching this important piece, because after you get the message down, you know, I want you to make money with your message. So.
Absolutely. Well, it's an honor for me. You know, a lot of what we do are in sync, and we've kind of ebbed and flowed together over the years, and it is a journey. And, you know, a lot of your story, a lot of what you're doing right now has come from the pain of and experiences that and that's what it's about in this space of thought leadership. It's about pulling from the experiences of your life and connecting to people who have shared experiences and want, have a shared common goal that you can kind of help them navigate. And so I'm excited about your program. I think it's so needed in this space. We need to be empowered, and we need to know that we have a Shero in our corner and an advocate who has walked the walk and talked the talk and is transparent most of all.
Exactly.
Because that part I totally got in your story, where it's like, you're presenting this really polished, beautiful, powerful person that has all the answers, and then behind the scenes your life is falling apart and you're like, how am I gonna
That is why one of the most important pieces to the course is community, because this is the most important part for me, because along my journey, Black women, for me, I've had lots of friends and good friends, but I've had a lot of cattiness, a lot of backstabbing, a lot of I can't trust my friends. I feel, and this community is a space of non-judgment. This is a community where we listen for each other so that our brilliance blossoms, so that we can get beyond this competing with each other, feeling inferior to each other, or feeling superior to each other. Like, this is a space of love, a space of growth. You can be yourself here. You can share your breakdowns, your breakthroughs. And the thing that I notice most is that people grow more in community because you have the shared experiences.
Yeah. Well, thank you, JeeJee. This is amazing. I'm excited. How can for the melanated woman of color who's listening and like, yes, I really need this. I really want to step into my purpose. I have this thing that's been on me for a while. I've been running from it, and I need help and guidance and accountability in getting this myself out there into the world. How do we get started?
Yes. Well, number one, if you want to start with my webinar, I have a webinar that teaches the 6 keys to thought leadership. If you just want to get a feel for me, you can go to 6keys.designerjeans.com. And designer jeans is spelled DESIG, NER, and then HERGENES, because I believe we were designed for greatness. So that's why that's there. And if you want to just jump right to the Black Women's Thought Leadership Society, it is at bit.ly/join BWTLS.
Okay. And if you didn't catch those, that's going to be in the description section of where this video is posted, as well as on the screen. I'm going to get fancy with some editing. And
good at that, girl.
And if people want to follow you and get in touch with you, how do they do that?
I'm on Instagram at JeeJee Saafir, JeeJeeSaafir. My website is profitabledisplaysvivisection.com. I'm sure this will be somewhere you will find me. But yeah, I'm Instagram, LinkedIn, JeeJee Saafir, Twitter, JeeJee Saafir.
Awesome.
Yep.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing your brilliance with us. I learned so much about your story, which is really
Girl, you ain't even heard.
We got some more to talk about. It's just scratching the surface. But no, I really enjoy chatting with you on the show. We'll do some more chatting and have you back on, I'm sure. But everybody, especially my ladies, my sheroes of color, definitely get in contact with JeeJee. Check out her webinar and look at signing up for the program. I'm excited to be a part of her program as well. And it's going to be good stuff. We have some big things to do in the world. So let's do it together.
We do, ladies. Let's do it together. Woo! Thank you, dear.
You're welcome. So I will see you all next time. I'm going to come up with a brilliant sign off at some point, I'm sure. But until then, goodbye. See you later.